Hi everybody, welcome back to Jobe's Honda Town. Yep, a little more mini bike work. Give you guys a little clue today, how this stuff actually works. See if it'll go here. Slow braking, running good. Love that little 5-horse. Thing actually runs awesome. Really wish I could have had this thing at the cruise, riding it around, showing the whole crowd. Probably would have been just as much fun, and the kids probably would have loved it just as much too. It's a hoot. But what we're going to check out today, down here, the CVT. Engine's good. New exhaust is on here. It's good. New intake for the carburetor over here. I'll show you guys. It's way good. It revs open. Oh. And of course, now it won't start. Yeah, it revs wide open now with the intake and the exhaust. Yeah, it rips. It's much more than 5 horsepower, I'm thinking. So, what we're going to look at today is down here on the CVT. I was just kind of, I kind of looked after I was asked some questions about how the CVT even works. Why is there a belt drive? How is that a clutch? What's going on, Ben? Several of my buddies even asked me, like, well, how do you just twist the gas and go? It's not a scooter. Yeah, it's set up just like a scooter. Set up just like a Honda 50cc scooter, but it's not a 2-stroke 50cc that you got to mix gas and oil and smoke out the pipe. No, it's none of that. It's a 5-horse Briggs lawnmower engine with the CVT. So it's a CVT belt drive. This is the crank. You can hear the engine spinning. That's the crankshaft spinning the front. The drive for the rear wheel is the back. So when the front spins the back, that spins the wheel. But what these belt drives also do, if you guys could see when I was revving it up there, they change shape. When they change shape, that changes the gear ratio to the rear, which is really what allows them to go fast. It's like changing gears on a 10-speed. When you first take off, you're pedaling real fast, but you're not going that fast, but you can climb hills real easy. And then when you shift gears, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way up to 10 speed, 10th, it's harder to pedal, but you can fly. That's what the CVT does. There's no shifting. It does it by itself with centrifugal force. It's all springs, momentum, and centrifugal force slings out the... On the front one, the drive moves in and the belt moves out to make the front drive bigger. On the back, it goes in to make it smaller. Let me see if I can just show you guys here real quick. 1 second. Then back to normal. When the tire stops, even though the crankshaft is spinning, the belt drive will let it hold still. The belt drive is the clutch, is the transmission, is the drive. The chain hooks on back here. If you guys can see in there, the chain sprocket. The sprocket is back in here behind the driven clutch. This is called the drive clutch, and this is called the driven clutch. Let me pop this apart, and I'll show you guys exactly what's going on here. And actually, it's up right there. You can see it's a Vevor 30 series clutch. Let me get this popped apart and I'll show you guys kind of what's going on here. Okay. Went ahead and turn on some more light for you guys there too. Got my rattle gun. Just need to pop off this one bolt here. There we go. That pops off. Run this out and I'll show you guys. It goes together very, it's picky about how it goes together. It only goes together one way. Bolt comes out. This piece here, this isn't just a washer. There you guys in. It locks in to the inner piece. There's a keyway. That keyway has to lock in here. Pop off this outer hat. Outer hat here. Really what I'm doing is I'm checking for my maintenance. See, there's a little bit of grease in here. It's not grease. What I use in here is anti-seize. That's good quality anti-seize, and yeah, looks like we're good to go in there, so that's muy bueno. And here is the clutch. When these slide out, that's what makes this drive in. When those slide out, you can see, and get this together here, it reacts on those two pieces and slides this apart. Slides it apart so the drive clutch gets bigger. Slides apart like that because that part is moving out and sliding on the inner part here. That's all got to slide and move. But when that slides in, that's what pushes the belt out and allows it to pull the belt in on the driven clutch, which allows it to change gears and allows it to speed up at the same throttle input. So we're going to put that piece down here. That's all good to go. That all looks great, actually. No wear here because of my anti-seize. That's all good to go. And my slider still moves back and forth real easy. So, yep, good to go there. A little bit of anti-seize in here, too, on my slider. That's crucial. And out here on the very edge, too, that's got to slide in here. Actually, this one has room, so it's not too picky, but a little bit in there never hurt. And right here is the biggie. Pop my belt off. My belt looks like it's in great shape too. And right here is what we needed to check. When the belt is spinning, or when the engine is spinning and the belt is sitting still, you can see I'm looking at the inside of the belt here and it's looking great. These teeth can get worn off here if it's grinding here because that bushing has got to spin on here. When you get these new, this is not lubricated. If you install this dry, it will wear this bushing out, chew your belt apart, and your CVT will not work for very long. I've already ridden this thing probably, I'm going to guess 200 miles. I've been through like at least 10 tanks of fuel. And the bushing's still good. Because what I use is I use really heavy bearing grease on here. Let me show you guys. It's up there on my shelf. Let me dig some out. And I'll show you what I do to keep everything intact so that my bushing stays good. So my belt can spin, or my engine can spin, and that allows the belt to stay at idle. That way the belt can spin. See the bushing spinning? When the bushing can spin, the engine can idle, the rear wheel won't spin, and you can sit still. That's one of the big tricks on these. I learned this the hard way with Polaris stuff for many years because I used to work for Polaris. I worked for Honda, Yamaha, and Polaris for many years, guys. I cannot tell you how many Polaris belt drives I've worked on. I'm going to go ahead and just say all of them. Every make, model, yeah, I've worked on them because they destroy belts. Really, because on the Razors, it's because of the low-speed bearing. Goes bad, destroys everything. Let me set my towel down here. The Rangers are really the best because they're made to go slow, and the belt drives are not that beefy. But they're good because they're meant for low RPM and going slow. And the Rangers last forever as long as if you're going slow, use first gear. If you're going to speed up, use second gear. And then they last forever. But they don't like power. They're made for the 2-cylinder engine, and yeah, no power. So, and yeah, kind of the same thing here. 5 horsepower. I may have it turned up to 10 now. It's probably about 8 or 9. And yeah, so it's low horsepower, which allows everything to work, and not super duper RPM, super quick, which just, or if you're going slow with lots of RPM, it's riding on this bushing and will destroy it. The Razors are like that because they have a bearing in there, and it will destroy that bearing if you're in second gear going too slow with too much RPM. It's not opening the clutch because you're not giving it enough RPM, and you destroy that bearing. Use first gear if you're going slow. It's hard. Nobody wants to. I know it's tough. So yeah, let me dig out what I'm going to pull on here and show you what we got to do here to get this going. Okay. Yeah. Nothing fancy. Nothing crazy. Good old high temp red grease. I love this stuff. I've used it on boat trailers. I've used it on everything. And yeah, this stuff, it doesn't matter what brand it is. Like, disregard that. It's just high temp red bearing grease. And yeah, this stuff works. Whatever is in this stuff, it works. And it doesn't take much. And I can see there's still a little bit on here because I just, I've been using it. This is the first time I've redone it. So there's still some on here. So yeah, we're looking good there. You only want it right here where the bushing goes. If it gets on this drive face, it'll get on the belt and then it slips. Not good. And it won't slip for long. It'll only slip until it wipes the grease off, and then you're back to good. So it doesn't really matter. But I like to just get a nice thin coat all the way around there. And let me just go ahead and spin this over so I can see. Whoop, I just stuck my finger in it again there. Excuse me. There we go. Nice thin layer all the way around there. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And this will slide off of here if I wanted to pull it off, but there's a keyway in there and the key's in and everything looks good and it's back on there all the way, so I'm not going to slide the back side of the pulley off. It's good. And that looks good and clean in here. Muy bueno. You can always tell if it fits tight. It'll wipe off the first part of the grease. Yeah, it's still good and tight. You don't want too much to build up back here when you push it back. See that little bit that's on there that pushed back in there? Pull that back out, and then I'm going to wipe this with my finger as I spin it around. See if I can show you guys here. There we go. See the goo on there? Looking good. Looking real good. We got that fine layer back there, which will this will slide around when the belt is on it. So that's looking muy bueno. And whatever else is left, it'll get rubbed off as soon as we fire this thing up. As soon as the belt hits a couple times, it'll be clean. No worries. Make sure everything's off of my fingers here. So when I grab this belt, I don't get more on there than I want. And the outside of the bushing is clean, so we're good there. Oh yeah, it spins super nice now. Look at that. Oh yeah, good. That's real good. Oh, it's sliding out there. Stay in there. All right, that's good to go. And in here, I'm just going to put, just because I can, and we got it off, One little smoogie right here. You can use the high temp bearing grease or you can use the anti-seize. Either one works totally fine. For here, the bearing grease for here, high temp bearing grease here, anti-seize or bearing grease in here, super fine layer once again, so that the two clutches in here can slide and work together. That's all got to slide and move. Line that back up so that the top hat, so the top hat has the cutaway in it. It has to line up here so it all grabs together. That all has to drive as one piece. Otherwise, not good. See, it all fits together. And yeah, see, I just got more grease on there, so let's wipe that off. Yeah. Okay. Now all we got to do is just line up our keyway. You guys can see in there, there's a keyway. I'm not sure if I can line that up. There's a keyway in there. We got to line that up with the keyway on our crankshaft here. So we'll turn that up. You guys can see now the keyway's right there. So we'll just line this upright. That's good, right there. And then this bolt with the cutaway also has to line up with the keyway, which goes upright, just like that. Has to go in correctly, otherwise no bueno. Put our bolt back in here. Alright, that feels good. You can always tell because if it spins straight, everything's good. Or at least everything's lined up. Yeah, we're good there. Alright. Go ahead and snug that back down. Good. Alright. Front servicing is totally done. That's all that's needed with the CVT. A little bit of really just checking, making sure it's good, and all is good. And back here on the back, all we need to check are these drive pieces. This clutch doesn't use a centrifugal on the back. It just uses a spring and these outer ramps. So as the belt pulls down, the ramps slide out, which allows the thing to open up, or allows the clutch to open, but it still holds tension against the belt so that it'll still drive the rear wheel with plenty of power and not slip on the belt. And that's one of the biggies in here too. You got to keep the water out of here. It's back here behind me. That's the cover that's trimmed to fit all this, trimmed to go over everything. And actually, I took it apart because I realized, or when I took it apart, I still need to paint in here. I had to do a little grinding here just so the clutch would miss because it was just barely kind of rubbing on there. So you need a little paint in there. But yeah, all is looking good. Let's give a little test hit here, see what happens. Got my foot on the rear brake for my hand. Sorry for the backfire. That pipe still likes to backfire. Sweet. All is good. Gotta love the CVT just because of its purely mechanical design and workings. A little bit of grease, get in there and get your fingers dirty. It's not difficult. It's with the cover, it's 2 bolts. The clutch is 1 bolt and 1 bolt here if you want to take it apart. And there's 2 bolts. This is my heat shield. I have a heat shield back in here. Goes there for the muffler because it was melting my cover. That was why I made the extension that comes back here where that still backfires. Sorry about the backfires there. And this is my intake. It's got a pod filter with a long ram intake hooked to the carb. That's working out wonderful. I couldn't find one that was the correct size, so I just went ahead and made one with, this is a velocity stack from a Honda CB with the intake coupler, all good to go. And also, I did a little more customizing because I wanted to ride it to the show, but I just didn't get a chance to. And I went ahead and put this up here because this is a Harley front wheel. So we might as well let them know. Yeah, guys, I love the little mini chop. That's Scooty B. I've had several scooters in my life that I just love, and I call them Scooty B. That's my new Scooty B, and I love it a lot. Ah, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. When in doubt, figure it out. The truth will set you free. Kickstands up, guys. Let's ride. Yeah. Maybe a Triumph, too.